Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Thank you everyone for joining us today. Inshallah, we will present our 20th session for the year and hope that we would be able to understand and discover some of the keywords that can open the doors to the Tawil and the understanding of the Quran. Our word for the day is Mubin. One single word, Mubin. I wanted to see what was the meaning, a dictionary meaning, a literal meaning. And to my amaze, it was not that hard to find one or even multiple meanings, translations of the word Mubin. And just about every single place where I Googled, the very first meaning was either manifest, manifesting, evident, clear, apparent, and even I found one place, present. And when I went into the more detail of some of the explanation of the word Mubin, I found that something is so apparent that it cannot be denied. Meaning, something which is so clear that you can see with your eyes and you cannot deny it. Those were some of the translation and meaning and explanation of the word Mubin. Amazingly, in the Quran, this word Mubin is used with, in the conjunction with, Nur, Kitab, and Imam. If you understood the meaning of the Nur-e Mubin, Kitab-e Mubin, Imam-e Mubin, and if you only take the above 5 translation, then we can say manifesting Nur, manifested book, and manifested Imam, or apparent and evident Nur, apparent and evident book, apparent and evident Imam. And if you take the last one, the present, the Nur which is present right in front of your eyes, the Kitab which is present right in front of your eyes, and Imam who is present right in front of your eyes, so that you can see. Mubin, something that you can see with your eyes because it is so clear, apparent, evident, and something that is not hidden but manifested. Let's come to these three Quranic ayats one by one. And remember, the word Mubin is the common denominator here, meaning our subject is the word Mubin. So the very first ayat is from Surah 4, ayat 174. The word Mubin in Islam and in Quran. Again, when I was researching this word, in one place I found that in Islam, the word Mubin, a very special place. And right on top of that, to explain what was the word Mubin and why it is so special, those four translation was presented as a proof. And that was the word Mubin signifies manifest, apparent, current. And that where I stopped. Because in previous place I found word present. And here I found the word current, which have similar meaning, the present and the current. There's something not only which you can see, but you can currently see, not something that you saw in the past. And you will see, why did I stop at this word? In Islam, every single Muslim believes that Allah has sent Nur along with the book upon Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But their beliefs stops at the doorstep of him, Hazrat, 1400 years ago. They all believe, commonly believe amongst all Muslimin that Quran was sent and Quran came with a Nur. And you will find many places in Quran, Allah talks about how He has sent Nur with the Quran, or Quran have come down with the Nur. And that is the common belief amongst all the Muslims. But when I found this one translation, current, meaning is always current and always present. Not that it was in one time and the other, and then either it disappeared permanently or now it is hidden, and maybe one day it will appear again. Because Mubin means, and if we say Nur-e Mubin, then that which is current, present, visible, apparent, evident, and you can see it in any time, any age, and wherever you are. That is the word current brought to us more clearly in what we already believed, but now we have more evidence of that. That the three places in the Quran for the word Mubin, the Nur, the Kitab, and the Imam, they have manifested, they are apparent, and they are current, and they are visible. No Muslim or no person who reads Quran can say that Kitab is present and current, where it says Kitab-e Mubin. But Nur-e Mubin, Nur is in the past lost, disappeared, and is no longer present. If that is the case, then the third word, which is connected with the word Mubin, then no Muslim, the reader of the Quran, can say that Kitab-e Mubin is correct. We have a manifested, current, and present book. But for some reason or somehow, the Nur-e Mubin is not current or present, and Imam-e Mubin is not current or present. Because what is true for one is true for the second, and it is true for the third. Either we say, Nozbillah, the Quran is no longer apparent and present. We will not be able to say that. Then we cannot say for the Nur or the Imam, because the same formation, same talim, same ayat is for the Nur and the Imam. The word Mubin has a particular significance in Arabic, in the language Arabic. Mubin and the words from the root letters bin signifies. By the way, this word bin comes from binai, meaning something that you can see with your eyes. It comes from the root letters bin, and that signifies readily obvious, not hidden, but very much present and obvious. Thus, if that is the case, Imam-e Mubin means manifest or obvious Imam without any doubt, without any questions, without any ifs and buts. It is so obvious that no logical person would say that is not true. So let's start with Nur-e Mubin. The Quranic ayat 4, Surah 4, ayat 174. And I have copied both in English and Urdu translation. So our friends, regardless of the language, and then if you can read Arabic, you are welcome to look into your Quran or on your devices. Just go to Quran.com and enter this Surah 4, ayat 174, which reads, O humanity, O mankind, there has come to you conclusive evidence from your Lord, and we have sent down to you a Nur manifesting, Nur-e Mubin, a logo तुम्हारे पास तुम्हारे रब की तरफ से सनद और दलील आ पहुंची और हमने तुम्हारे जानिब वाज़े और साफ नूर उतार दिया है, so you may see and be guided by it. Let's take an example that we have given the eyesight. But if there was no light, would we be able to see? Obviously, logical answer would be no. Allah have sent the Nur, the light, so we may see and we may read and we may be guided. And all of this is possible with the Nur, the light. And without the light, that would not be possible. If it was possible, Allah would not have sent the Nur with the Quran and Quran with the Nur. That tells us that no Muslim, the reader of the Quran, can say that I have the book, I accept the book, but I do not need or accept the Nur which came with the book. Because without the Nur, without the light, no one will be able to see or read or understand or comprehend the ayat, the miracles of Allah in that divine book. The next ayat is about the Kitab. We all understand that there are 4 heavenly books, Kitab-e Mubin. But because we have taken this ayat from the Quran itself, then we can say that initially we are talking about the Kitab-e Mubin as the Quran-e Sharif. But along with that, or within this Quran-e Sharif, you will find Kitab-e Mubin, other heavenly divine books. Surah 5, ayat 15. O people of the book, you notice Allah is speaking to everyone who have believed in Zabur, Torah, Injil, and now the Quran. The people of the book. Now our messenger have come to you. So this is addressing the people as the Islam and as the Quran was being created or was being revealed to the people of the time. Then, oh people of the book, you already understand how important is the book to you. As you hold that book in your hand, constantly, all the time, and all day long for all your life. You must have seen those people of the book, they always have their Bible, their Torah, or their book, the Zabur, Old Testament, and the New Testament in their hand. More so than the Muslim holding the Quran in their hand. So Allah is addressing to them, O people of the book, that now I have sent you a new, fresh prophet between you, amongst you, and he has come down to you, revealing much of what you have been hiding from the scriptures and discarding much. So before the revelation of the Quran, they would present things from the Bible of what they like and what was in their favor. And they will hide what was not in their favor. Why am I criticizing others when you have noticed? I do not like to criticize others. Here, I would like to make a point by doing so. Remember, the Quran is for the Muslimin, believers, and those who read it. Allah is telling them that I know how people have hide the true words of Allah. Do not be like them. Do not be like them. Do not become like them. Don't be amongst them. When the ayat come to you, when the book comes to you, when the talimat comes to you, make sure that you are honest in delivering what has been given to you. And do not hide as the people before you have hidden what was not in their favor. So Allah says, O people of the book, now our messenger has come to you, revealing much of what you have been hidden of the scriptures from the books that had come before you, and discarding much because it is not in their favor. There certainly has come to you from your Lord a nur and a book. But for both of them is the word used, Mubin, a manifested nur and a manifested book, an apparent and clear nur, an apparent and clear book, a evident and present nur, an evident and present book. So don't hide things in it. And don't discard one and keep the other. And this was the warning to the Muslimin of the time. Now, let's ask again. We say we have the book, the Quran, in front of us, present. No doubt about that. Then the question is, did you hide the facts from the Quran, from the future generation, or did you disregard it much what was given to you? You kept it in the book, but you disregard it. When you are asked, where is the nur that came with the book? Then either you turn around and you hide, or you disregard what is written in the book. And Allah had warned you from the example of the people of the book before you not to do that. Don't do that. अहले किताब, खुदा की किताबों को मानने वालों, हमारा रसूल तुम्हारे पास आ गया है, जो किताब-ए इलाही की बहुत सी ऐसी बातों को जो तुम्हारे सामने खोल रहा है, जिन पर तुम पर्दा डाला करते थे, और बहुत सी बातें से दरगुजर भी कर जाता है। बेशक तुम्हारे पास खुदा की तरफ से एक नूर और एक किताब ए मुबीन आ चुकी, जो हाजिर भी है, मौजूद भी है, दिखती भी है, जाहिर भी है। Now, let's come to the last reference, Imam-e Mubin. And this reference comes from Surah 36, Ayat 12. We shall surely raise the dead to life, and we record in the book what they did and the trace of their deeds that they have left behind. And we have encompassed all of that, everything, in the Imam-e Mubin. Allah, as He have given us a life when we were dead, and surely He can do that again. And when He does that, He will present your book of deed, all your good deeds which you have sent forward, and all of your deeds which you have left behind. He will collect and bring forth all of those deeds, and He will encompass all of that in a living book, in the Imam-e Mubin. If you would like, take this ayat 1771 for your further understanding of we have encompassed everything in Imam-e Mubin, what you have done and sent forth, and what you have done and left behind. All of that we have encompassed in the Imam-e Mubin. To understand this further, read one short ayat, 1771. And with this Imam, on the day of Qiyamah, we will call all of you. All of you on the day of Qiyamah will be called with Imam of the time. Why? Why do you have to be called with the Imam? Because your book of deed you will find in Imam-e Mubin, as he is the writer of your book. He is the witness to your deeds. He is the collector of your deeds. And on the day of Qiyamah, when you will be called upon with your Imam, remember the reference 1771. He will have your book of deed in his hands, and he will read back to you everything which you have forwarded and everything which you were hiding. And there will be nothing hidden from this book of deed. और हम तो हैं जो जिंदा करते हैं मुर्दों को और लिखते हैं किताब में जो आगे बेच चुके और जो निशान उनके पीछे रहे, और हमने इमाम-ए मुबीन में हर चीज को सिमट लिया है. And you will not be able to run, hide, anything that you do or anything which you have done during your lifetime. All will be presented as your book of deeds is with the Imam-e Zaman, and you will not be able to hide anything of it. You will not be able to hide anything of it. So let me stop here, and then if you have any comments or question, please do ask. Inshallah, we today have presented just one single word and tawil and the meaning and the understanding of the word. And see how important, how significant this one short word is for the believers. Thank you so much again. Inshallah, now if you have any comments or question, we will take that. G.
Thank you, Aziz sir. That was great. That term we use all the time, Mubin, Imam-e Mubin, Nur-e Mubin. Oftentimes we talk about Nur-e Mubin when we're talking about looking for the book, Nur-e Mubin, that a lot of people are looking for. But this also helps us understand why this word is so important for our tariqah and what exactly or the power of this word and why it's so important in respects to the Imam and the light as well. So it helps to see the various verses that all use, the verses that you selected for this presentation.
And remember, Nur-e Mubin is so important that without the light, how will you see, read, or understand the book? And then, same time, without the Nur, how will you ever be able to see the Imam which is in front of you? It requires two faculties. One is the eye, and one is the Nur in your eyes. Binai. आंखों के साथ बिनाई is important. जी.
So inshallah, we'll have some questions coming in the chat. We haven't had anything yet, but hopefully we'll have some so we can have some more discussion on this topic. I know a lot of times people are wondering about this ayat you have on the screen, 36:12, which we recite part of it in our dua. So it's interesting to see the full verse because sometimes some people encounter it for the first time, the first couple, like the first sentence, and they're wondering how is that related to the Imam and Imam-e Mubin, because it sounds like it's talking about something of the afterlife, of death, and it's interesting how sometimes, without or when we first come across something, if we have never encountered it before, we might get thrown off. But when we look at it carefully and we realize that imamat and the subject of imamat is not limited to just matters of this dunya, so it would make sense that everything to do with things about those who are dead and those who are raised unto life, and what kind of life we're talking about, should have something to do with Imam-e Mubin, in which everything, all matters, all subjects should be encompassed. So that's also helpful that we're looking at this verse in its total verse, not just selectively.
Subhanallah, subhanallah. Ji.
So let me make sure. Yep, the chat is open and we don't have any questions here. Okay, so we have one. So many people refer to Hazrat Imam as the living Quran. Can you please elaborate a little bit?
Ji. So, Imam-e Taireen have many titles and many understanding. Not only he is the living Quran, but he is a speaking Quran. What does it mean, living Quran? Someone who can speak. I'm not talking about the Hafiz Quran, but a living Quran who is living the words, every word of the Quran. He is the manifestation of the Quran. He is the walking and talking Quran, because nothing is hidden from him. So we can say that Nur and the book which was revealed on the Prophet is now in the manifested Imam. Both the book and the Nur. Because it is not that at one time Allah wanted to guide the humanity, so he sent a Nur and the book, and then all of a sudden, after 22, 23 years, he have taken away the book or the Nur of it. Matter of fact, from the day one, the book was with the Ali, the Imam-e Zaman, and the Nur of that book was with the Ali, Imam-e Zaman. And Nuran ala Nur, after Nur, after Nur, the Nur and the book, both have manifested with the Imam-e Zaman. So he may continue to teach and guide by the book. G.
Thank you, Aziz sir. So there's nothing in the chat yet. I'll go back to some of the slides or some of the sessions we've had in the past, and we've spoken about how the Natik, meaning the Prophet Muhammad, was charged with the Tanzil, that was his task to reveal the Zahir, the Tanzil of the Quran, and the Imam's task or mission was the Tawil of the Quran, which would be the light and the soul of the Quran. But historically speaking and doctrinally speaking, is it the case that Imam gives us the Tawil just like that, or is there something to like? Is there a need to struggle to receive that Tawil? Meaning, how does one benefit from that light of the Quran, the living Quran, which is, like you mentioned, not half as a Quran in the sense that the Imam comes and recites to us the correct pronunciation of a surah or two surahs or the whole Quran, as in the way sometimes some Hafiz Quran will do, but there's a wisdom, a great wisdom within the Imam. So then what is our understanding of the Imam? Should we expect that one day or somehow, if we just look hard enough, we'll find the Imam's book that he wrote or he sent us somehow some Quran, or is there something to do with this has to be done in a more spiritual sense?
So spiritually and physically both. Because everything starts from the physical action. For example, taking the bayah, very physical action of a moment. Very physical action of a moment, taking the bayah. But understanding the bayah and the following the bayah requires paying attention to the batin of it. Just like that, Imam is the living and speaking Quran, and he gives the tawil or tawilat of the Quran to those who are ready and willing to learn and take. So he start the lesson physically first. For example, he gives some ayat or some words from the ayat. And he may ask you in a question form, or he may give to you in a statement form. And when you start to pay attention to the words of the Imam from the Quran, and if you do that, and if you do some personal search, then he guides you Batini on the line within yourself. Then he shows you the words that you see and which will bring a concept to you. Let's take the subject of the day. The Mubin is not something that we wrote and brought up. No, this word was in the Quran from the beginning. So when Imam asks us that regardless of where you are from, you must have recognition of the Imam of the time. The word Imam of the time, current Imam, present Imam, manifested Imam. When he said that, he drew our attention to the Quran and in the word Imam-e Mubin, and then connecting to that we found Nur-e Mubin, and connected to that we found Kitab-e Mubin. And that's how he teaches. And once you pay attention to his teaching and you open the book and you start finding, then he guides you from inside on Batini level. And that's how he teaches. If we all remember this one share, हाफिज़ कुरान नहीं मैं, आशिक कुरान हूँ, आयाए कुर्सी में मुझको जुमला कुरान याद है. Arif Kamil Zaman says, I have just not memorized, verbalized the Quran, but I am a truly lover of the Quran. As Imam have shown me the entire Quran and taught me in the one single ayat, and that is ayat kursi में मुझको जुमला कुरान याद है. जी.